So I'm going to give you the quick and skinny on what caused the Wings of Redemption and Boogie 2988 fight. It all revolves around this mysteriously weird man named Darkside Phil, DSP for short. He came up in YouTube in the early days, about 15 years ago. He was a Street Fighter player. Thought he was the greatest in the world. Thought he was the man. And at one time, he soared to the top. Hell, he even called himself the greatest Street Fighter player in the United States. At whatever Street Fighter game nobody else wanted to play. Because the thing was, no one in the respectable Street Fighter community was playing this game at this tournament. They had all dropped out. Nobody liked this Street Fighter game. But you see, DSP, he toughed on through. He wanted to show that he was the best. And he took like third. But he took that, hey, I'm the best. They were too scared to play against me. I'm the reason that they boycotted it because, gosh darn it, I'm DSP. And see, you'd think that this stupidity wouldn't cause the landslide that he is. And you'd be absolutely right. What caused this was a long spree of jumping from different AdSense accounts, trying to force people to click on ads, which got him kicked from Machinima. Then he went to another Machinima type. If you don't know what Machinima is, before AdSense and YouTube were combined like the creature from Human Centipede, you had to go to some type of company like Machinima or something to get ads on your YouTube channel to make that moolah, baby. And when he got kicked from Machinima, he went to, I can't remember the exact source. If you want to really know, go watch Down the Rabbit Hole's Darkside Phil video. But he went to this other company because they said that they would strike down every single person using his content. Because they're stealing his content. He never thought once about fair use. And see, I'm a big proponent of fair use. I believe in freedom of speech and freedom of expression. And that's why when he did finally copyright strike a bunch of people, put this giant crosshair on his back, he was down people's sites already. People were already turning him into a lolcow. And if you don't know what a lolcow is, it's somebody who gets milked for laughs. Yes, that complex. And Phil still doesn't believe he's that. Now, after this, he started moving from Street Fighter content to just kind of like a variety content creator, a streamer, and he would make videos, and a lot of times he got really mad because people would take his gameplay, which he was absolutely garbage at. Now, I don't have any grandiose gestures of thinking I'm any good at video games. Hell, it says in my bio that I'm not good at video games. I'm just a video game enjoyer. But this man, in his mind, thinks he's the best. And it's his pride that leads to his downfall time and time again. You see, this idiotic fuck saw people making videos called This Is How You Don't Play It, took it to heart. It made him mad, and he's like, oh, they're stealing my content. I'm just a quality content creator with a heart of gold. And he went out and copyright striked more people, which led to more people hating him. Well, that wasn't the only of Phil's worries. Now, even when this saga slowly turned down to an end, and he kind of realized the error of his ways. See, he was streaming pretty much full time on Twitch. He was doing stuff on YouTube, and Phil loves to put his foot in his mouth. You see, Phil fancies himself a comedian from time to time, never really being that funny. You see, he's like an opening act at a show you know is gonna bomb. He's like opening up for Amy Schumer. He's not gonna be an A-lister. But his problem is he's apologetic for every joke that he's ever made. He'll go out there and pretend to be a Nazi killing Jews at the Holocaust, and then he'll go and make a racist joke about little black girls getting kidnapped by a cop and put into slavery. Now, do I think these jokes are okay? Absolutely. I think comedy is the one place where you can make any joke. But if you're going to make a joke, you be unapologetic about it. You take that joke, and when people confront you, be like, hey, fuck you, pal. I'm here to make jokes and be my true, authentic self, and I made sure the bit was funny. I'm here to entertain my audience, and if you don't like that, pound sand right up between those sweet cheeks, you stupid troglodytes. But you see, Phil's not that way, because, like I said, Phil fancies himself a quality content creator, and he's always on the defense. He'll play the villain. He's constantly with this victim mentality. So he sits there and he thinks, oh, how can I look like the victim like this? Well, it was a joke, and I know that I'm sorry for what I've done. Over and over again, the man falls into his same routines. Well, the problem is, it would be fine if he just kept doing the jokes, and like I said, took full credit for them. And if that was the only things against this man, you know, I wouldn't think anything about it. In my mind, he'd just be another content creator like iDubbbz. They can't realize that the stuff that made him popular is what made him who he is. People like that, I look at him like, yeah, you're a hypocrite and you're trying to pull the ladder up from behind you so nobody else can climb it. But it's typical YouTube stuff. The thing that made Phil different is he constantly begs online for money. That's all he does. He's just sits there and he goes on stream. My life is so terrible. My life is so weak. I need money. And this man was at the top at one time, making hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, only to never pay his taxes and go bankrupt, and spend tons and tons of money on mobile games, which he denies rigorously. He's always like, and people, when they ask him where the money went, he's like, I spent $8,000 on internet and fixing my car, which is bullshit, and we all know it's bullshit. But this man cannot admit his faults, which has led him into this after his bankruptcy and his parents paying off all of his taxes, and every year he can't make his money and he needs you to donate. He's in this constant cycle of begging and complaining online, like a leash that just suckles on the wallets of other people. Can't go out and get a job because he's got gout or something. Everything is not Phil's fault, it's everybody else's. Well, here comes Keemstar. Oh, let's get right into the newsman himself with an idea. You see, Keemstar and Phil have had beef in the past because among Phil's tons and tons and tons and tons of mistakes, he made a mistake where he left his camera on and was like, oh, I'm jerking off. Oh, my penis. He wasn't making those sounds, but you could see his head just, yeah, and then he fell back. And I have that video playing on a loop in the corner of this screen. I think I put it in the top right if you're holding the phone, or left, whatever you want. I'm not going to do your directions. You can figure it out. I have it on a loop playing this whole video, so you know who I'm talking about. But Mr. Phil did that, and it became a huge thing. Now, if I would have been caught doing something like that, I would have put that face on every t-shirt I sell. I would have monetized the shit out of it. I would be making I jerked off on stream jokes. I would be like, watch me jerk off to this game playthrough. It would be its own series. It would be the pinnacle of my channel. It would be my launching point to get me to the next level of YouTube. It would be my jumpstart point. Now, I'm not going to jerk off on stream, but a mistake like that you can turn into a benefit. You see, Phil did not understand this. And the moment the Keemstar picked up on this, and he was like, let's get right into the news. Streamer Darkside Phil was caught. He was wanking his knob on stream, and Phil lost his mind, and they had a little beef. Well, years go by, things cool down, and Keemstar comes up with him a little idea, a little thought, because he's looking through YouTube, and this is genius, and he sees people like Wings of Redemption, Boogie2988, Darkside Phil, and he thinks, if I got these three idiots together, these three lolcows, where more channels, hundreds of channels between the three of them other people are making just to clip their content, just to make fun of them, just to milk these idiots for laughs. What if we put them together in a room for a podcast? They can talk about anything. Hell, they could talk about the drama they go through. They could complain and beg to their heart's content with each other, talk about how horrible their life is, whatever. It would get people to watch it. They would get thousands of views. Hell, even millions. It was a genius idea. So he goes to Boogie. He goes to Wings. Says, I got this idea. $50,000, you do a podcast, maybe it lasts, maybe it doesn't. We go into it as partners, 4-way split with DSP, and he tells them on his pitch. They say yes right away. They're in, they're ready, baby. Well, Phil can't be bothered to reach back out, so even though Keem was trying to get a hold of him, I was talking to people that Phil knew, trying to get this guy to get on the phone, he reaches out to him on Twitter, says, DSP, hit me up, I have an idea. And they go into the DMs. DSP's like, you need to email me. Like, who the fuck emails? Like, I get it. In a business sense, back in the 90s, you send somebody an email for work stuff. This is YouTube, man. This is about calls. This is about having that conversation, getting your foot in the door. DSP was like, no, I don't want to do that. And he was like, well, here's the deal. I'm DSP. Here's the times you can call me, so you can offer me $50,000 so I can do this podcast. Well, Keemstar calls him. Guess who doesn't answer? Because they're streaming, and he can't interrupt his stream. He can't disrupt his stream. His streams are too important. That's his begging time. That's where he gets on his hands and knees at the edge of the dinner table and says, "Nom, nom, nom, nom. Daddy, please, more dollar bills." That's his life. So he can't take 10 seconds out of his stream, 10 minutes, say, "Hey guys, listen, I got a big business opportunity. I can't talk about it, but I hear there's some things a brewing in the oven that might be really cool and you will all love. And I gotta take this call." No, he can't do that. He ignores it. And then goes to lambast Keemstar on Twitter. Go all out on him, saying, "Keemstar called me on my stream. It's unprofessional. Keemstar's a piece of shit." Over and over. And then Keemstar's like, "Well, podcast is done. Can't get DSP to sign up. Can't get him to take any time. Podcast is done." A few days later go by and Keemstar stumbles upon DSP's stream. And what is DSP doing? "Well, I can't pay my water bill. I can't pay for my electricity. My car broke down. I have gout." And Keemstar jumps in the chat. He jumps in there like a mad lad on meth, saying, "You have the audacity, the sheer gumption to go out and beg for money when I'm offering you a business deal of $50,000 just to show up. 1 day a week to show up, to take a phone call. And you throw a tantrum about it, you refuse my offers, you disrespect me, and now you're begging on stream?" And this makes DSP lose his mind. "Well, Keemstar, you're such an idiot. I would never work with you. You're toxic." Blah, blah, blah. Decides to go out and trash Keemstar online, crash him on his stream, and Keemstar goes out and drops an absolute nugget of a banger. "This banger makes me hard thinking about it." Just kidding, I'm not gay for Keemstar. Matter of fact, sometimes he can be outright goddamn annoying. But this was something that I agreed with. He went out and said, "DSP, I'm going to put this in video game terms for you. You see, I've beat the game. I've platinumed the fucker. When you're still stuck on level 1. Now, yes, is that an insult? Oh, yeah. But look where DSP's at. Every time he's started to get, throughout this story I've told you, as jumbled as it is, he's gotten to the place where he could have monetized. He could have been the king. He falls back. He goes back to the same place he was, begging on stream, complaining that he's broke, saying, "I went through bankruptcy. I can't pay this. I have to get a new wrestler on WWE Legends." He's stuck on repeat, whining and crying for money on stream, like a homeless man with a tin can. And now I know what you're thinking. You've watched this 13 minutes, and you're like, well, how does this tie to the Boogie and Wings fight? Well, you see, Boogie and Wings, like I said, were willing to work with Keemstar. They had the gumption. They were ready to do it. Hell, Wings even said, "DSP lost me $50,000. He couldn't take he said he was insulted because Keemstar wanted to talk to him. Hell, if Keemstar would have wrapped the bag, or the money in a bag, and covered it in dog shit and threw it on my front lawn, I'd still do the podcast." That is from Wings of Redemption himself. You see, he lost both Wings and Boogie $25,000. But see, Keem saw something in them. He saw they were willing to change. They were willing to take the next step on YouTube. They were willing to get to level 2. And he set up a fight with them. Now, the purse wasn't huge. I think they're both getting 10 grand. But it was something to prove that they weren't the pussy-ass bitches that they are. That they could take the step forward, even with a short amount of time. Not a ton of time to get in shape. Not a ton of time to get ready. But they did. They put in the work, and they are fighting today. Getting themselves out of the grind that they've been in. Trying to grind for the respect. And that's paying off. Whether you... And people like DSP are out there, oh, he even had he was on Side Scroller's podcast, and Keemstar confronted him. And he was acting like he was on the moral high ground. "How do you feel that you're putting 2 fat guys on stage to get laughed at?" And Keemstar said, "People might watch to laugh, yes. but they'll also have to respect them as warriors. And DSP acted like that was such a bad answer, but Keemstar was right. And do you know how I know that he was right? Is I was on Wings 007's channel the other day, and I saw him post a video, which if you don't know who Wings 007 is, he's a lolcal account for Wings. He makes compilations of him, like when Wings is saying stupid shit. That's the whole point of the channel, is to make fun of Wings. But he posted a video of Wings of Redemption's interview. And in that interview, if you look to the comments, almost every single comment is positive. I have never seen that. I've never seen a positive comment not making fun of Wings. But it's all like, big W for Wings. I've never seen Wings with this type of energy. If Wings was like this all the time, everybody would just watch his content and love him. Wings gets such a W for showing up to this. I hope Wings wins because Boogie is such a manipulative piece of shit. Everyone's in Wings' corner. I have never seen Wings' trolls unite for one cause. And that's happened. And people are rooting for Boogie to get out of the situation, even though Boogie is a lying, manipulative piece of shit. People are there to support him. People want him to win. People are rooting for these two guys to get out of the rut they're in and succeed in life. While DSP sits and whines and cries and says that I would never work with Keemstar because look what he's doing to Wings and Boogie. What is he doing to them? Getting them fans that they never thought that would be their fans. People that will actually watch them because there's a small part of them that admire them. That look at them and say, inside that tubby bullshit of whiny pieces of shit that you are, there's a fight. And I'm intrigued into that fight. That's what Keemstar did for these two. So now a fight's happening. They're reinvigorated. Hell, there's even going to be a podcast again with Wings and Boogie and someone else. And again, whose fault is it? DSP's. You see DSP with all this drama going on and how much Keemstar had been living in his head rent-free. He was like, well, I know what he was sitting there thinking. He's like, you know, Keemstar was right. Keemstar was right with that podcast idea. There's a lot of money in it. But I don't like being a lolcow because I'm not a lolcow. I'm going to poach the podcast idea for myself. So he reached out to Boogie. He reached out to Wings, said, we'll do it with another third party. And of course they told Keemstar. Of course they went and talked to Keemstar. And Keemstar came out and said that there was going to be a podcast. And instantly DSP pulled out because I don't want to be a part of that toxic thing. This guy calling Keemstar toxic, the same guy who was talking about burning Jews in the Holocaust, is calling Keemstar toxic. And again, he's kicked out. Again, he burned his own bridge. And not only did he burn his bridge, but he kept insulting Keemstar. And now Keemstar is going to make a documentary about DSP. He's already got his DSP's family. He's going to pay some of DSP's family and friends to do interviews with them, just to sit down and tell the truth about DSP. To tell how much of a snake this man really is. How much of a vermin piece of gutter trash of a human he truly is. It is good to see. Now, I don't like rooting for people's demise. Hell, most people I root for. But not DSP. Not a man that's had that many opportunities. See, myself, I've been in bad places in my life. And I've taken every single opportunity I could to pull myself out of those bad places and better myself as a person. And so when I see people like DSP who have constantly fallen down and then when they pull themselves back up, whine and complain that the world's after them, I have zero respect for those people. I think they're flaming piles of dog shit that deserve to be put in a bag and put on the front porch of some other loser. But at least some good came out of it. At least if Wings and Boogie and whoever else they get on the podcast turn into the next big thing and are finally living in good living situations and making the money they need, they can look at DSP and laugh. Because those two have realized that they have squandered every opportunity in their life and they need to get out of that rut. And they're doing everything they can to get out of it, while DSP wallows in sorrow. But thank you guys so much for watching this. I know it was a long one. Leave a comment below. Are you excited for the Wings of Redemption fight? Are you excited for the Boogie 2988 fight? Leave a comment who you think's going to win. Or maybe just leave an L for DSP. Subscribe to my channel, you idiots.